the backbiting, the struggles, all the behind-the-scenes drama, the real story of how Let Joe Know became Let ABC15 Know. That's today's Joe Knows Better. All right, I'm Joe Ducey with the Better Business Bureau, and we are here with Kristel Bell. She's an anchored reporter for Let ABC15 Know. Thanks for being here, Kristel.
Thank you for having me.
And Kirsten Johnson, been a reporter, or been a producer rather. Well, a reporter, really. You're a reporter.
Really.
It's just so you're not on camera a lot.
Yeah.
But with ABC15 for
8 years, 9 years.
9 years. My old pal, who's my producer with Let Joe Know, old just in terms of, I've been there a while.
Good clarification.
On terms of age, yeah. So we had to laugh at the beginning. They want to do teasy stuff. So, backbiting, stuff behind the scenes. None of that happened, actually. It's been a great transition. So Kristel's here, and she's been here for 2 long months.
2 long months.
How you liking it?
It's so far so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or would you like you came from where? Go into your history a little bit.
So I came from Kansas City.
Yeah.
I've been in Kansas City for about almost 4 years. I was an evening anchor there, and before that I was in South Carolina, and before that I was in Texas. Yeah. So I've been reporter, anchor throughout my career.
Yeah, you've had one of those careers you move around.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Well, now it seems like warm.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I just want a home.
Yeah. It's all good.
Well, it's always, it's going to bigger and better places, it sounds like.
Yeah,
so,
that's all.
Well,
That's it.
I know Kansas City is a great place, and some of those are really nice. But how do you like it here? Well, it's going to be your first summer.
I feel like I came at a good time and a bad time because I kind of got used to spring was really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, everybody keeps talking about summer.
Yeah, I
So.
know. Well, it is something in the desert, man. It's like it's not humid.
Well, that is good.
It's good, but it's like, when you got 110 down on your feet, it's like, oh, man.
Yeah, and oven's an oven.
An oven's an oven. Yeah, you've been here for 8 years. You came from where?
We came from Vermont.
Okay.
That's where we moved from. So that was different.
So like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think someone described it to me as having a blow dryer in your face. Constantly just blowing
That's true.
heat in your face.
It is, and we all choose to live here.
Yeah.
It's the winters are great.
Mm-hmm.
And they say you don't shovel snow. You were doing that or don't shovel sunshine, but you were shoveling snow, I'm sure, in Vermont.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I was kind of one of those that I'd never remembered to start my car ahead of time or anything like that. So I was half scraped, kind of roll the window down, just get there. It's fine. Everything's fine.
What's funny is my wife, I'm so frugal that my wife said she saw somebody start their car remotely, and she says, I'm never going to have one of those, am I? Just a car starting remotely. I'm like, yeah, we could probably do that maybe, swing that. I don't know. But,
I'd lived
so
by
basic.
that in the winter in Kansas City.
Have it started before you get out?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was so bad because when it's negative 13, you have to start the car for 30 minutes just for it to be warm. And it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So I don't miss that.
Yeah, and you have to start if your air conditioning. I've got a car that doesn't start. The AC doesn't really come on for we timed it for 4.5 minutes. So right about 4.5 minutes, it comes on and just really blasts you. But they can't figure out what's wrong with it. So we wait about 4 minutes for this damn thing to, start. It's 110 in the car. All the windows are down, and it's crazy. So you may want to start your car here too a little bit early.
I have to think about that.
For the AC.
For the AC.
All right, let's get into, so you came from Kansas City and you were reporting and anchoring there, and you were doing you were doing consumer reporting.
So I was doing consumer reporting in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
I started it was kind of like Smart Saver. It was more of just consumer finding deals, helping spot scams. It was a little bit of mixture of everything. I promise you, I did not come up with this name, but I started this franchise. It was called Deal Diva.
Deal Diva.
I did not.
Hey, I like it.
I did not come up with that name, but I was
so you were the Deal
Diva. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the Deal Diva. So, but we would do, DIY, ways to save money, couponing, things like that to just kind of help save $1.
Yeah. Well, I could see some of that's going on with Let Joe Know too. I mean, you deal more with scams and making people whole with solutions and all. But I could see the other as well.
Yeah, I did scams too. Just hey, spotting this is not legit. That kind of thing.
We thought that we were thinking of names for the unit. Actually, when I left was we've heard a million times, right? Tell Kristel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's perfect.
I know.
But I don't think they want to tie
I try
it
to sneak it in a little now, every now and then.
You should. That should just be your ending, and wait till to see if they even notice it.
Yeah.
With Tell Kristel, I'm Kristel Bell.
Tell Kristel.
Tell Kristel.
Stir in the pot.
We actually got an email from a viewer about that. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, right when you started, someone was like, I have a great name for you guys.
Yeah.
It should be Tell Kristel.
Yeah.
You're like, I know, man.
It is. It's like it's a pronunciation of the name. All that's just out there. But anyway, all right, move on. All right, so So I was there a few years. I was there about 18 years, and then about 10 years with Let Joe Know. KJ was there the whole time. Well, no, you were there the last 3 years, but you were there at the station the whole time.
Yep.
Before that, you were producing newscasts.
Line producing every show I started weekend mornings, so getting in at like 10 p.m. the night before, because that's what you can do when you're in your early 20s and it's, doesn't take quite as much of a toll.
Yeah.
And then getting to dayside, and then most recently before moving over to the investigative, the 10 p.m.
Let me ask you, coming from that and not, really seeing the day-to-day complaints that come in, what were you going through when you started seeing what the complaints were, and now years later, was it a shock?
I think I was in probably a good position that, I had been at the station, so I knew what Let Joe Know was, what the consumer unit was, kind of, on the outside looking in, that's more than coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I was shocked by the volume and also just the variety of complaints, because we've seen everything. And I think you had someone ask you to come and fix their ceiling fans one time. It was just the different things that people write in about, and some can be people who have lost their entire life savings and, it's crazy, or coming out of COVID, a lot of when the eviction moratorium was lifted, the reality of people potentially losing their homes, not knowing what to do. And even landlords who, they hadn't collected rent in forever. And they're like, some of them, were trying to, how do I keep people in their homes? But I also have to make my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like the ceiling fan, or, kind of, I have weeds in my front yard, help me.
Which are a big deal to those people, but not to what you would think of when you see all the complaints that are coming in, the complexity of some of them and the seriousness.
I think that's where I'm at right now. I think, just 2 months in, I think it has been just overwhelming to see the amount of people that need help. And
what were you saying about the number of mail that you had originally?
I'm down to 1,000 in my inbox.
1,000? Yeah,
I cleaned out a lot yesterday.
Well, you were up to like 3,000 at one time.
Yeah,
right?
I was at 3,000 just starting out. But it's just, and to be fair, that's all the newsroom emails that we get. But it's also when we receive them, I put them in a special folder. You go back to them, and our BBB volunteer team does a really great job of receiving them, responding to them immediately. But I still have this thing that I want to go through them and look at them. Because, it's just like what you said, just the amount of help that people need.
Yeah. And a shout out to the Better Business Bureau team, the Let ABC15 Know team. Farzi is at the head of that, and she does a great job.
She does a fantastic job.
So, and they do. The good thing about it, I think, is what the way we kind of set up is that it isn't just you reporting on a story and only helping people in that story. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's people being helped behind the scenes all day.
All day.
Yeah, by this team that takes them on, and they may not see those stories that come out. Not every one of those is put on air.
Yeah.
But yet people are getting helped, and that's something ABC15 has done, which I think is great from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that is the most impressive thing when coming and making the decision to come here.
Yeah.
I think that was so impressive to me that, it's not necessarily the stories that I would be doing, but it's the team of volunteers that are helping behind the scenes to help and provide the resources that they may need. And I thought that was just top notch.
Yeah, and they come from different parts of life. I mean, some of their attorneys, they're people, corporate people. So it's really cool to bring their experiences in, and they can kind of work with people about what to do. So of the complaints you're seeing, are there any that could kind of stand out? I mean, what I guess with people listening right now, and they may have a concern, and they happen to be in the viewing area here. What kind of complaints can you take on? What are we seeing a lot of?
I mean, we take on almost everything.
Consumer related, anything money loss?
Consumer related, money loss.
Scams we want to prevent.
Yeah, if you hopefully prevent, that's, I mean, kind of one of the things, and, you've experienced, we've all experienced, is people reach out, and sadly, sometimes they're reaching out after they've been scammed.
Yeah.
But I love the ones, and, we try to get on the ones when people are like, hey, I just got this. I'm not unsure about it. I don't know what's going on. It might be a scam, but I don't know. Yeah. And those are the great ones, because we can help stop people from responding.
I think the newest one, I just was going to tell you about this today. I think I decided to go ahead and do, but we've gotten 10 emails about the Becky Bell Charity Foundation.
Yeah.
I remember I pulled up a story that you did in September, but we've gotten several emails about, people wondering if this Becky Bell that won the lottery, she won millions of dollars in Washington, and people are reaching out saying, hey, she's going to give $250,000.
Yeah.
All I need to do is just pay this activation fee to receive the check. Is this real? So we've gotten several emails just within the last 2 months I've been here of people asking, hey, is this legit? Is this a scam? And then other people that's saying, hey, this is not right. We just want to let you know this is what's going on. We got this. So I think going to do something on that.
That's a good one, and I think it's people, and maybe you guys, I know you're seeing the same thing. People who, it could be in bad situations and need something quickly.
Exactly.
And then other people who just I mean, we all have it in us, like, ooh, free money. It's like, hey, and then we don't want to take the time to see if there's something more to it. Whereas if you, I'm learning now. I mean, it took me a while just to say, just stop and step back. In a lot of these situations, we get into just step back, think about it, talk to somebody. It's like before you enter into it and like do the stuff that gets you in trouble, and before you know it, you're giving bank accounts out and you lost $20,000.
Well, and the Becky Bell one is just such a good example of scammers mixing real with fake.
Yeah.
Because like if you do a quick Google, so you get the text and say, oh, Becky Bell won the lottery, and she's got a handler who she wants to give out some of her money, and if you just Google and look up Becky Bell lottery winner, she did win the lottery. Someone named Becky Bell did win the lottery in, it's like the Pacific Northwest, I think it's Seattle or something like that, and won a bunch of money. Becky Bell could be an amazing person, and she might be giving some of her money to charity. She's not the person texting you. But if you do that quick look, a quick scan, it looks legit.
As a matter of fact, when you Google it, your story pops up first.
Oh, it does, really? Okay, wow, that's good.
Becky Bell, no relation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No relation. There you go. Becky, my sister. She won the lottery. Why am I still working?
Right.
That took me way too long.
Well, you kept saying it, and I was like, no relation.
But so if you have a Becky Bell concern out there, let ABC15 know.
Let us know.
We'll know.
Yeah.
I know you've got some notes there you guys have been going through.
Oh,
so go. Is there anything that you want to talk about particularly? Because I'll move on to some other stuff, but I want to get in what you guys want to.
Oh no! We just kind of was looking at it. Like the question was, what are we looking at? The phishing scams.
Well, I know you're working with KJ, and she's always got notes.
She's always got notes.
She's got everything set up.
These are her notes. So I was like, let me go to KJ's notes. Yeah, what is it, like phishing scams, tax scams? We've done a couple of. I think I've been wanting to do like a lot of education.
Yeah.
I think because for
that's
me,
a key.
Yeah, just education, because the education stories are helping me get the knowledge. So me starting new to this, I'm doing a lot more. I like the education stories.
That actually makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because that is helping me get the information that I need to help.
And then the key, I think, to all the stories, I mean, you guys are thinking to continue doing this, is that I always thought that it's good to, help people solve stories, but you don't want them to be in that position to begin with. Mm-hmm. So it's educating like how not to. So guys, here's what this person did that maybe they shouldn't have, or here's how, and that's, I think, what you're talking about too.
Yeah.
Kind of educating people on that. So phishing scams?
Tax scams.
Tax scams are big. And the phishing is basically pretending to be something, or
so the like latest one is, and actually I didn't save it, but I actually got this text message too, which was super annoying. And it did give me like a moment of pause. So that's why even if you work in this, it's the new. So it's basically like you have unpaid toll fees or something like that. And so it's going around nationally. And I got one that said that I had unpaid tolls in California. And the text is coming out all saying that it's done by the same company. But I had actually vacationed in California, and it was a couple years ago, and we had a rental car, and we did actually have issues with like their fast pass. And ended up having to like pay stuff and then get reimbursed. So I actually had a situation where I was like, well, did I pay that all? Did I make that square? And kind of paused. And I was like, what am I talking about? This is dumb. But like it was that step back. And so people are getting ones from like Arizona, which is hilarious because Arizona doesn't have toll roads. So you won't have that payment. Wow. But the whole thing is that, you click on it, you reach out on the link, and maybe you give them your driver's license, maybe you give them whatever, and then they have all your information.
Personal information. That's what they're going to go for. Yeah. And the other one is that I see a lot of is the one where they are now saying you bought something or that you renewed something. Right. Mm-hmm. So like it used to be Norton Antivirus. Hey, your Norton Antivirus renewed, or PayPal, hey, this charge went through for $550 if it wasn't you, and there's a phone number to call. And if you call the phone number, you get these guys who are trying to scam you, and then end up talking to you all this stuff. And then there was the one about remember the one about the refund? They gave you too much money back in an account, and then they want some of it back.
Oh, yeah. People were too nice. I gave you too much money, and so can you please send it back to me?
Yeah.
But that was also part of the employment scams as well. They'll send you, because we did that story earlier this month, how they want to, we'll give you this money so that you can buy your supplies and then send the overage back or what have you.
Yeah.
Oh, we gave you too much.
Yep.
Send it back.
Yeah. Any way they can get money. And people, it always comes down, like in that situation, people want a job. So they're kind of in a desperate situation in a way, like, oh, wow. And the other thing is, though, here you go again. You're desperate for a job, but then it's always, you've seen that it's like a lot more money for a remote job that nobody else.
And that's what it is. Yeah. A lot of people after COVID, a lot of people want the opportunity to work from home. And so you see college students who are just graduating, looking for a job. So they're on these employment sites, and then a lot of single moms who just want remote work, or other people who want remote work, and then they take advantage of that. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And now crypto is being put into that. For some reason, crypto, and I'm seeing here at the BBB, and I know you're going to be, or you are seeing them now there, is somehow, and I don't know how it happens, but they go from an employment opportunity to a crypto investment. It used to be like romance scams, because the romance, they never see the people, and then they talk them into crypto now, or sending money by that, or investing in it. But now it's employment to crypto. I don't know how that works, but I'm trying to talk to a woman about that now. But it's, because I think people are confused by crypto. I don't know much about it. I know it's a currency, it's an investment, but
and we've seen we just did it was one of an education pieces like a couple weeks ago, but like about pig butchering, which involves crypto.
I heard about that, yes.
And so there was a huge bust in New York, like New York AGs, but it was like millions of dollars were taken from these residents, and they all got involved in this scam. And so some of them, it doesn't matter like how romance scams kind of play a part sometimes, but regardless, the scammer makes first contact. And sometimes it's like a fake text first contact. So you'll get a text and it's like, I didn't mean to send it. But the text will be like, hey, you were so right. I made all this money in this. Thanks. Like, appreciate you. Thanks so much for letting me know. And then it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to text you that. And then you'll be like, oh, but I'm interested. How did you make all this much money? And then it's people essentially like scam farms. And I was talking to my husband who's techie, and he's like, yeah, that wouldn't be very hard to do. Making like fake like stocks essentially. So it's like a fake app where, you get involved, you make this account, and you can see, oh, look, my stock is going up.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Wow. But it's all fake. And it's apparently just a little bit of coding. I can't do it. I don't know. But apparently it's not actually that hard. which is
That's
awful.
so that's how they do it with the bank accounts too. We put money in the bank and it appears that it's there and that they paid you too much and they need it back.
Yeah.
And that's when you're sending your good money. Oh, I don't want to take too much. Here's the $3,000 we owe you, and that $3,000 is gone. All right, let's talk confrontations.
2 months in.
2 months in. So you shouldn't have had very many yet, but I heard you had one at least. Where was the guy? We don't have to talk specifics about the guy's name or whatever, but there was the guy with the.
We did. That was earlier this month. Our first door knock.
How was that? How was that? You haven't done a lot of those, probably, right?
No.
You're going to be doing more of them.
Okay.
How was it for you?
It was kind of fun. I mean, I felt good because I had KJ with me.
Yeah.
So we
The big guns,
Yep.
Yeah. she was there.
Uh-huh.
And when we got to the door, it's so different. So it's so different now because, you back in the day, we did a door knock and you really did knock on the door. Now you just walk up and you're greeted by the ring.
Oh, the Ring doorbell.
The Ring camera.
Oh, yeah.
So they talk to you through the Ring camera. Okay. And so that's exactly what happened. So, and he did. He said he was going to call me. I said, well, listen, I want to talk to you. I want to get your side of the story. He said,
what was it? What was the story? And then we can go back to that. Was it not a whole lot of detail, but just it was a
So this guy he's an unlicensed entity.
Okay.
The ROC doesn't like
They
to
don't say
call him unlicensed
contractor,
contractor. He is a man who doesn't have licenses. It is taking on contracting jobs for more than what he's legally allowed to as an unlicensed contractor entity. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like thousands more than he's supposed to, and he's either taking off with the money or he's doing. I got pictures of like the finished job and like what he put in is already rusted. It's like not. It's just like not good.
Yeah.
So we went to his door. This isn't the first time he
wasn't contacting you.
Yeah.
You guys gave him an opportunity to talk. He didn't, and then you went to the door. Okay, and that's the Ring doorbell. And was that surprising that there would be that?
It surprised me.
It surprised you?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess wasn't surprised.
We have a ring, but if someone rings, I ignore it. So I guess the fact that he interacted on the ring is what surprised me.
Yeah, he did. He interacted. Okay. He said he would call, and he did. He did call us.
All right,
and I did speak to him.
And and I know
wasn't really impressed with what he had to say, but
yeah, I mean he's doing the work without a license. I mean, what's he going to say? And
he said, what did he say?
He said he was working to get his license.
He was working to get his license.
Which.
Well, you stop working until you get your license, right? But the funny
you don't practice on
it's
people,
not funny.
right?
I wouldn't say it's funny. Yeah, you don't keep practicing. He was like, I keep failing the test. He said he was in classes, taking classes.
That should be his quote under his business name. I keep failing the test.
And he said on his website, but we never did find it, that he said, I do not have a license.
Oh.
He said, but people still come to him, but he's charging too much.
Yeah. If it's under 500,000, something like that now, but you can look up the
$1,000.
It's
$1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
But the very next day we did that, guess who we got an email from? Another person filing a complaint against the same unlicensed.
Really?
And we hadn't even run the story.
And the story.
So that's interesting. So it looks like some of these people are on a go, like they're taking off. Like you get a few in a row that they're really, that's really interesting. So there'll be more of those, I know.
Yeah, I'm ready for my next one.
Yeah. And I remember, I know this is about you guys, but I love going down memory road sometimes. There's a.
I'm ready for it. I want to hear it.
No, it's just some of they run together after a while.
Really?
Yeah, just I'm saying that that's kind of the stories do too. When you think, pick out that great story that you did, and you're like, oh, which one?
Yeah.
Humble brag.
Huh?
Humble brag.
Oh, yeah.
Which great story? There's so many.
You got that too.
Just story. Not great. But I remember. We used to do a lot outside courthouses because it was fairly simple because you knew they were going to be there, so you could then. But the problem was trying to find out which door they're going to leave because you can't confront them in the courthouse because it was a case that involved you, and then you get them in the street, and the lawyer's always putting their hand in the camera, and you can always use, don't touch the camera, that kind of fun stuff. And I think we did one with an auto place. One of the last ones we did, it was actually a year ago, I think, or more. And it gets a little scary because when you go into the businesses, you don't know what they have. And he went behind. It was a guy that I think he took advantage of with an as-is car. piece of crap. You know, it died after they bought it, spent a lot of money. The poor guy had a bunch of kids, couldn't get her kids around. Went to the place, you know, and he goes behind the counter. And I'm thinking, oh, man, that guy could have anything behind the counter, you know? It hasn't happened. You know, we've been threatened, but it didn't happen. But I think, you know, I do think I like to have the person on camera. And I know that's what you want in that situation too, because you want people to see what this guy did. And I think in some situations, even if you can't get a solution for the person, having them on camera and people seeing them is something for the victim, you know, because they're like,
A warning
finally,
out there, yeah.
Finally, but this guy at least paid something. His picture is out there. People have seen him, even though I didn't get my money back. That's a good thing, you know. So I think that could be good. But yeah, those I do miss those.
Well, anytime you would like to come out, just say when.
You and I should do. Yeah. Oh my God! You imagine lawyers at ABC15. You did what with who? He wasn't employed. What? Oh my gosh.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'm trying to think of some other ones that we did. But future, where do you see? You've only been there 2 months.
Yeah.
But the station's very much backing you, backing the unit. I see your promos. My wife and I watch American Idol, or did, and you were on, like, you know, you popped up all there all the time.
Yes, a lot.
Which is great because it's something people are watching.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going? Would you see, do you want to steer it in one direction? Do you see kind of the way it's been? It's been pretty early. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but.
I know. I think, it's still kind of early. You know, I'm in this beginning stage where I really want to find my groove, and I'm still finding my groove, and how I want to change the dynamic, or if I want to keep it. I mean, what you have laid down, it has been phenomenal.
We've got this one still back there, which is great.
I know,
consistency.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think.
Thanks for that.
And testament, just a side note on that, just to hear people say the transition has been seamless. That is because of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That is totally because of KJ, because
I would have liked to seen it fall apart terribly when I left, actually. Why would he have left? We need him back.
Yeah,
Let's give him double what he wanted. No. I'm so glad it is actually that you're there, and this has worked out great.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, but it's been great because KJ has been here. But you know, it's just kind of still, I think the idea, the basis of still wanting to be that voice, that advocate for people, what you've laid down, that foundation, is not going anywhere. I'm still learning that part of how I want to, you know, fit it and make it into my own.
Yeah.
And this is just being transparent, you know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I kind of come in and wonder, like, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah, I know.
But
you will for a while. I mean, I
yeah.
remember that for a long time.
But I think, you know, when you feel that way, I'm a firm believer in, you know, God's reminders for me, right? So no sooner than I think about that, I receive an email. So someone emailed about the phone bank that we had and said that they never called the phone bank when you were there.
Yeah.
But they said because they felt like they would never get through. But they couldn't help it. They had an issue. They really, really needed some help. And so they called the phone bank where we had estate planning and was so impressed that they got through. The attorney was so nice and gave them all the information that they needed. And they just said they loved you and they are so glad that I was here to help carry on what you started.
Oh,
and
man.
So
That's
that
great.
is...
That's great.
That made me teary-eyed this
morning. Yeah.
It's like,
we like just got that email this morning.
You saw that this morning?
That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought, man, that was dope.
That's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, it's a great, they've done a great job of not, well, I'll just say it, not allowing sales kind of to get involved with ABC with this. It's been really good where the salespeople have been wonderful. If you ever have to go against a business that is also an advertiser, it's just been great. They've never said to us that I can really recall, don't do the story. They've said we need to tell the advertiser so that we don't, advertise during the vibe if they're going to be on in a negative way. So I think the station's backing of it has been really big. And on the road, I think I know you're going to be, I bet you can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah,
We're
we
doggies.
had
I
our
might
first
have-
meeting about, last week. Was that last week? We met about the place, getting that organized and getting that
Tempe
ready
Marketplace
to go. Tempe
again?
Marketplace.
In
yes.
October, probably? Maybe not?
Change the date.
Oh, when's it going to be?
November,
guys.
13th.
If anybody watching right now or hearing, November,
13th.
Tempe Marketplace, the 13th. A good chance to go out and talk to businesses, if you're a consumer, about your problem.
Yep.
And
Have
hopefully
all the experts back out there, though.
attorneys and experts and all. Yeah. And some state regulators possibly, and, some surprises, I'm sure.
Hopefully not many, though. It's very, very organized, structured event.
Yeah. Well, any last, I think we've gone on, man. We've gone on half an hour already. What, any last things you want to talk about? Any last, I guess if people want to get in touch with you, the address is let Joe know. Let ABC15 know. And the website's abc15.com/let
Consumer.
Consumer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was the whole thing. It was too much. Too much words.
Too much.
Yeah.
ABC15.com/let ABC15 know. So yeah, we just shortened it to consumer.
Consumer. Okay, good.
Consumer at abc15.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consumer at abc15.com.
Consumer. So if they write in, that's it. Okay. And if they want to go to the website, it is abc15.com/consumer.
Consumer.
Okay. So same thing. And the Facebook page, you guys still, I'm sure, I did a really bad job keeping that thing going. So we'll get back on
We'll talk
that.
about the Facebook page another day.
You
It's still, we're waiting for it to still transition over.
Just turned over.
Oh, wait, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that memo. Well, yeah, just.
I didn't get involved when it was still not that way. I should have.
Well, what did
But yeah.
I've heard.
I went back to these personal. I've been horrible on Facebook, but I'm getting better now because it's really interesting. You go from a place where I took for granted how many people saw you. You had like 18,000 followers here, and your newsletter went out to 30,000 people or whatever. And you just did it. Hey, go to abc15.com/let John know or whatever it was. Here, the Better Business Bureau, you don't have those viewers. So when you have podcasts like this and things, it's like, let's be transparent. It's like, how do you get those out? So I went back to my personal page, Facebook page. I had requests from 11 years ago.
What?
Yeah. 3 people had died already.
Well, now it's
yeah.
not funny.
What?
I know. I went ahead and confirmed because I thought it's the
Wow.
least I could do. But yeah, it was like, I mean, I was just, because I didn't really take it that seriously, and I'm sure I talked to them in other ways, but I didn't realize that there was a request for whatever on Facebook. I went back, it was like 11 years. That's so bad. Professional page, not as bad, but my personal page was
So you're thinking about a TikTok page?
No, man, I'm not your TikTok guy. Look at me.
We had an Instagram for like a hot second.
I know. I was the worst. Thank God for KJ being the social media person.
Well, then I feel like I picked up habits. I was like, social media, we've got to do the TV part first. And then it's like, then you just kind of like, oh, did I post this week? No.
No, I know.
At
So
one point,
KJ
we'd be
kept
good
me
for a
going.
while.
Yeah.
We'd be
Gotta
like,
break
okay.
those habits.
Yeah. I
Listen
know.
to me. I haven't done much either since I've been.
Well, you've been there 2 weeks or 2 months. All right. Well, Kristel, great meeting you.
Great to meet you as well.
We've met before, but great that you're part of this. I'm glad you're here. Doing a wonderful job. Great anchor. I watched you last couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
So hopefully they're going to take this and do what you want with it. And KJ, I love you. And yeah, so
Such a
anytime,
softie.
I'm going to
know.
shed a tear here. Anytime you want to leave and come over to the BBB,
No, wait a minute. No.
there's a place for you right there.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Hey, a great success in the
She's got to
future.
stay with me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before hiring, go to bbb.org, check reviews, and for accredited businesses that agree to operate ethically. And see all my podcasted videos, joeknowsbetter.bbbcommunity.org. I'm Joe Ducey with the Better Business Bureau, helping businesses and consumers get it right.